Our next speaker is Lynette Kucsma from Natural Machines. Lynette is co-founder and CMO at Natural Machines, the makers of Foodini, the first 3D food printer and IoT, or Internet of Things, kitchen appliance to contribute to a healthy eating lifestyle. CNN has named Lynette one of only 7 tech superheroes to watch, and Fortune says she wants to sell the 21st century's version of the microwave. She believes that people would be healthier if everybody eats freshly made wholesome meals and snacks. But it needs to be easier and faster for everyone to create healthy foods made with fresh ingredients. I'm really looking forward to listening to or seeing this presentation, because I watched this on Facebook yesterday on the morning radio channel. So Lynette Kucsma, I would like to welcome you here, and I hope you bring your fantastic machine with you.
We did.
Oh, great.
People usually want to see the machine over the people, but exactly. We're going to do both of them today for you. So we're going to kick off to keep on time, and we're just going to set up as I go through a few things. But hello, everybody. We have a lively audience today. Good. So I'm Lynette. This is Emilio, who's setting up Foodini, and we are the co-founders of Natural Machines, and we are the makers of Foodini, a 3D food printer, which we'll be printing on stage today while I talk to you. But before we cover anything, I really need everybody to understand what 3D printing is in general, because it's quite a new concept for everybody. So a really easy way to understand 3D printing, if you don't know what it is from this word hello, printed on a sheet of paper, like you would have in an inkjet printer printing a normal document. Now imagine while you're printing this word hello, it gets stuck in your printer, and it keeps printing the word hello over and over and over again until the ink builds up and you get a 3-dimensional hello. That's 3D printing. Normal 3D printers use plastic or metals to print as ingredients. We're using food. And what we're doing is we're printing up food layer by layer, such as this example, to create really beautiful and delicious dishes such as this. Now, I know people in the back probably can't see exactly what's going on up here. We're going to do some more prints afterwards as well, so you can see it. But up here on screen, you'll see about 10 seconds of what printing actually looks like. So we're printing food layer by layer into different designs. Now, some of you might be sitting there thinking, hey, this is a pretty crazy idea. You know what? It's really not. Because if you think about it, if you eat anything from a food manufacturer that you purchase in a supermarket that's in a package or processed, you're practically already eating 3D printed food. Because think about it. What a food manufacturer does is they take food, they push it through machines, they shape it, and they form it. We've taken that exact same concept and we shrunk it down to a design kitchen appliance that sits on your kitchen counter. So who are we and why were we asked to come here today? We're not the only 3D food printers in the world, believe it or not. So just a little bit about us. We're almost 5 years old. We're 5 years old in November, so we've been doing this for quite some time, focused on 3D food printers only. And throughout the years, we've been very honored to have been awarded and recognized with over 25 recognitions. A few I'll just highlight here. So we've been named as an incredible food innovation that will change lives. We've been named as one of the 10 best 3D printers in general, not even around food. A top emerging health and wellness startup. So yes, this is about health and wellness. Believe it or not, when you 3D print food, health and wellness is a part of it. And we're a food technology startup to watch. And just 2 quotes from some very good news publications. The Washington Post calls Foodini the one device that will change how we cook forever. And Mashable calls Foodini an ingenious gadget that will automatically upgrade your kitchen. So we're considered one of the worldwide leaders in 3D food printing, and that's why we've been asked here today to show you and talk about the whys and the hows of 3D food printing. So the big vision is that in 10 to 15 years, 3D food printers will become a common kitchen appliance in everybody's kitchen, both home and professional. You won't be surprised in the future to walk into a kitchen and see a 3D food printer there. Same as when you walk into a kitchen today, nobody's surprised to see an oven, a stove, or a microwave. And believe it or not, these devices are in kitchens, professional kitchens, today. This is not a prototype. This is coming off of a manufacturing line. So 3D food printers are out there. You might not even know you're eating 3D printed food. Sometimes it's easier to explain what we're not. So what we are not is things like Nespresso or coffee makers where you have to use pre-filled capsules. We will never force you to buy pre-filled capsules to use to print. Will they be an option in the future? Sure. But the key word here is option. We're based out of Barcelona, Spain. We like fresh food. We like real food. And so do a lot of the people we work with. So Foodini ships with empty stainless steel food capsules that you can put in your own fresh, real ingredients. You will always be able to do that. And if we didn't do that, I can guarantee you we wouldn't work with a number of Michelin-starred chefs. This is an example of one who's based out of Sweden who specializes in seafood. So he's actually printing a number of seafood dishes with us. Now, behind this door here, there is room for up to 5 food capsules that you can put into the device. So you can actually print multi-ingredient dishes without having to manually exchange ingredients. The machine will do it for you. And on those stainless steel nozzles, we have easy-to-twist on and off nozzle sizes that have varying holes that the food goes through. So people tend to think with 3D food printing, oh, maybe you need to add gelling agents, or it has to be a slurry type of texture, or a baby food type of texture to print. Not true, at least not with the way we're doing it. So with those different nozzle sizes, you can actually print different textures. So we've done things like print couscous with chunks of vegetables in it, totally not processed, not blended, it's normal couscous. We've also printed mini beef burgers with chunks of cranberry and walnut in it. When we did this print, we had a slight problem with our mini burgers, not the burgers themselves, but the fact that we couldn't find bread rolls that would match our mini burger size. So we printed them. So then we had our perfect burger bun ratio to our actual mini burgers that we printed. So why? Why are professional kitchen users interested in 3D food printing? Well, there's a number of reasons, but 2 main reasons keep coming up over and over again. One is because 3D food printing can create food presentations that are simply not possible by hand. Try doing this spiral by hand. And food presentation is important. We start judging our food before we taste it. It's the minute we see it, and sometimes when we smell it as well. So food presentation is very important, and it's not just for adults, it's for kids as well. So I have 2 young kids, and I try to be the good mother and have them eat their spinach. I tried making it to a spinach quiche, looks like a pie. They weren't having it. Okay, fine. Not everybody likes every food. But I took that same exact recipe, I 3D printed it into the shape of dinosaurs, and my dinosaurs became extinct very quickly. My kids couldn't get enough of them. Same exact recipe, different shape. So when we're talking about 3D printing of food, some people tend to think, oh, it's for complex shapes, things that are difficult, that you probably can't do by hand very easily. So they think more complex shapes like this dish, which is available on a daily menu in a Michelin-starred restaurant in Spain. But it's not just about the complex dishes, because the second reason why a lot of professional chefs are interested in 3D food printing is automation. So could a chef make this dish by hand? It's basically 2 circles that are printed, one on top of the other. Could they do that by hand? Sure, maybe. Will it be perfect circles? Maybe not. This will make perfect circles, but they could do it. But if you have 50 to 100 people sitting in your restaurant for dinner, why should the chef do that by hand? That's time-consuming. The machine can do it faster and easier. So there's that food presentation angle and the automation aspect. So I'm going to show you a couple photos of some seafood dishes that we've printed with chefs. Some chefs use 3D food printing to tell stories. So this is a dish that was created by a chef who wanted to remind the person who was eating it that this came from a lobster, a live creature, and that lobster gave its life to feed us. Now, it's just meant as a gentle reminder to respect your food, where it's coming from. So they're using it as storytelling on their menus. This is from another Michelin-starred chef who's playing with a coral theme. So they're using a number of different seafood dishes, and he wanted to have a coral theme going out throughout his menu, so he's playing with different ingredients on a coral shape. The photo on the left is an edible container that's been printed. So the chef serves it with the tin, the actual metal tin of caviar on top of it, so you can see what the caviar is, where it came from. And when you open it, the container is edible with the caviar, so he's mixing flavors into the caviar. The plate on the right is from a chef who is personalizing their dishes for you. So they find out your first initial, and they print it. It's kind of a fun thing for them to do. But 3D food printing isn't all just about fun. There's actually a motive behind it as well that's very positive, which is reducing food waste and sustainability. This is a dish that we printed for a UK journalist who came in quite a while ago, actually. And when you tend to go into a pub or restaurants in England, you'll get a fish and chips dish, such as the one on the right there. It's a standard serving size. Doesn't matter if it's me ordering it, you, your children, you'll get this serving size. But why? You look at restaurants, and there's a lot of food waste that happens there. People don't finish dishes. So why can't we just print a number of sections as to what you want? Maybe this print here is a serving size for me. Maybe for you, you add a couple sections. Maybe for your kids, you print a few less sections. So it's about printing what you want to eat and nothing more. So it's about that whole customization. And it's not just in restaurants or in your future home about lowering food waste, about printing what you want to eat and nothing more. We go up the food chain. So you know about this ugly fruits and vegetables concept, where we reject fruit and vegetables because it doesn't look the way we think it should, or there's ugly cuts of meat, ugly cuts of fish, ugly cuts of seafood, or seafood that stays to the bone that's typically thrown away. It doesn't look good. But we can take that, 3D print it, make it look beautiful, keep it in the human food chain, and it's nutritious, real food. Let's not throw it away. Let's use everything and actually eat it. Okay, but some of you might be thinking, seriously, do we really need a head printed out of butter to survive as a human race? Do we need this? Some people might say yes. I've gotten yeses in audiences before, but no, we don't need that. This is the novelty aspect. This is the fun aspect of 3D food printing. Can you try to trick people? Yeah. If you look quickly at this, you might think it's corn on the cob, but it's not. It's 3D printed sweet potato in the shape of corn on the cob. So it's a little bit of a play with ingredients, what you expect to eat versus what you actually taste. But why would you, as a home kitchen user, be interested in 3D food printing? The answer is in the supermarket. So when you go into any supermarket or stores, we have aisles upon aisles of processed, packaged, and pre-made food from food manufacturers. And when you take a close at those labels, a lot of questions start to come up. There's E numbers, additives, preservatives, chemical-sounding ingredient names. Sometimes we don't know what we're eating. And even with the clean labels, which means when you read the ingredient label, you actually can understand every ingredient in it, what you don't know is how much of those ingredients you're eating. So we typically eat way too much salt, oil, and sugar, as an example, when we eat too much processed food. Now, Holly had mentioned a wrap in her presentation. Coincidentally, it's part of my presentation as well. But this is an actual picture of my lunch that I make. It looks pretty healthy, right? Down to the whole wheat wrap. The whole wheat wrap is the only thing in this picture that I bought that was from a supermarket that was in a package. So I took a close look at the ingredients. A wrap is really flour, water, and maybe some spices. This, how many additives? This is additives. 9. So I looked them up, and they're in 3 different categories. Preservatives, then emulsifiers, /stabilizers, /thickeners, /gelling agents. And then there's the mysterious others category. I literally don't know what I'm eating. This is a wrap. So why don't I make it by myself? Did I mention the 2 kids I have? I never have a clean work surface in my kitchen, so I'm going to have to clean my work surface. The dough is easy enough to make, like I say, it's flour and water. But I have to clean the work surface, roll it out really thin. These types of doughs tend to be sticky, so you have to use flour so it doesn't stick to your rolling pin. Then you tend to use too much flour, it doesn't taste right. Who has time for that? With this, super easy. I just put in the dough, I print it, and then I have my whole wheat wrap, which is actually healthy. No additives, I know what's in it. But how does it taste? Well, I'm going to show you a short video of what happened when a couple TV crews came into our office in Barcelona and took our printed food out to the streets without us so we could not impact the results. Here's what happened.
We put it to the test. Anyone, 3D printed cookies, get them right here.
This has come out of a printer? And it's edible?
Se imprimió. It's been printed out? But how is it done? It's good. It tastes like a normal cookie.
It's good. It can't be from a printer. It's really good.
Some, the idea is perhaps a little too radical. No?
No, thanks. No, thank you.
It's from a printer? No, I don't trust it.
Sabe súper rica. It tastes super delicious. It's really good. Está muy buena.
It's great. The shapes are imaginative.
Tasty. Really tasty.
What? That's cool.
That's awesome.
Awesome, right? Okay, some of you might be thinking, yeah, I edited out the bad parts, right? No, I did not. I did edit the film, yes, but that was just to tell the story. It's in a different order than it was shown on air. However, everything you saw was everything that went to air, and you know if a TV crew got a negative reaction, they would definitely show it. There's no doubt. So the only negative reactions you saw were when people were told first, before trying, that it was 3D printed. But everybody who tasted it liked it because it's fresh, real food. So with 3D food printing, you can print your morning cereal. You can print your seafood lunch. This is from a chef who did a different take on a shrimp salad. You can even print your spaghetti dinner. All of these dishes are printed. Now, we've been talking a lot about 3D food printing itself, but there's much more magic in this box. So it's also an Internet of Things, IoT, kitchen appliance, which basically means it's connected to the internet. So you do not have to stand in the kitchen using our touchscreen trying to figure out what you're having for dinner or create your own dishes. You can actually do it from the comfort of your sofa to create your own dishes and see what you're going to eat. And with the sensors in the machine and the IoT data, we can do a bunch of fun things like stop printing a dessert once it hits 100 calories. If you're not calorie conscious, don't use the feature, but it's there. So you can do these types of things with data. And the future of food with 3D food printing is everything will become customized. Remember when we talked about it being a 3D printer in general? The whole basis of 3D printing in general is that you become the manufacturer, you customize. It's the same thing with your food. So in the future, if for breakfast this morning, I need more vitamin K because it hasn't been very sunny here, or more vitamin D because it hasn't been very sunny here, or I need some more iron in my diet, I can print a breakfast bar that has those nutrients upped. And you can print a breakfast bar that's customized for you. That's where it's going. So I'll leave you with one last print. The future of 3D food printing, we want it to be an easy-to-use kitchen appliance so everybody can use it. Everybody knows Pinterest, where you can post photos of a lot of nice things, a lot of the nice recipes you can make. In the future, you won't just see a pin it button, you'll see a print it button. And what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to print these cookies, they'll cook in here, and they'll get iced in here without you touching it, so that this comes out fully cooked and ready to eat. That's easy, that's where it's going. Imagine that at Christmas time with Christmas cookies. That's what I'm looking forward to. But this isn't just futuristic and we're thinking about these ideas. You know now that this is real, it's in the market. But we're also here because we're working with people in Iceland, such as Mattis. Mattis is very forward-thinking in the future of what's happening with 3D food printing. So I want to invite Holly back on stage just to say a few words about what we're actually doing together. I think you have to go to Mike's.
So the research we're conducting at Matisse with the Foodini is funded by the Irani's Technical Development Fund. And the idea behind the project, which is called Future Fish, is that we create a form that is sustainable. So as Lynette has been saying, and all of us well know, there's a lot of byproducts that come from the processing of fish. And the idea is that we use those materials and create forms that people would otherwise think was pretty ick. So we have a volcano. I'm not sure if any of you have seen it, so later you can look at it. It's a, a salted cod. Oh, sorry, volcano. But as you can see, the traditional form of cod, it's exciting, you know, for the traditionalists, but, you know, for the people today, the millennials, they might really like the volcano better. So one of the ideas behind this project is that we not only use sustainable products, but that we really engage the consumer, we engage chefs, and at the end, ideally, we can make this easier for consumers by making a pre-filled cartridge with the seafood so that when they get home, whether it's from the refrigerator from the store or the freezer, they can get home and print something easily and then cook it. This is an example of pasta. It was really exciting for me, first and foremost, to see fish products print. I did formulate, and I was happy that when I first came to Barcelona and worked with Natural Machines, that things were working pretty well. But I never made pasta. And this is actually a gluten-free pasta with cod surimi. So that was really exciting. But as Lynette was emphasizing, I mean, some of these products that you would normally make, gosh, they're just time-consuming. They're not convenient. So basically, it's a 3-year project, and we're really just at the starting stages of working with product. And so cod is our staple here, and you know, later you can look at these. This is a very ornate, twisted star. I never thought this would be possible. So this is an amazing project for us as well. And again, the volcano. This over here is a spoon that you can then fill with what you'd like, perhaps some sushi or some other, maybe vegetable. And that's made out of cod. And then we do just have a potato puree that we've made into a star as well that is fortified with a plant protein to give it some natural color.
So we invite you to come up afterwards, take a closer look. We can run the machine again so you can see it actually live. But this is the future, this is the now. So we're 5 years old, but it's still very young technology. It's going to keep evolving. And we say in about 10 years, you'll have one of these as well. So this is real food, 3D printed, and we're Natural Machines. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you so much, Lynette. It's extremely interesting. We are exceeding the time, so I would say we can make room for one question now, and we start punctually at 10:30 after the coffee break, but there's time for one question before we go to the break. Anybody? Okay, if not, then you, yes, one over here.
Hi, I'm Guðrún Pétursdóttir from the University of Iceland. I think this looks marvelous and great fun. And it gives a lot of possibilities regarding byproducts and parts that we wouldn't use otherwise. Absolutely, I can see that. There are two things that concern me. One is the texture. Texture is an important part of food. So if I understand correctly, you have these containers, and out of them comes whatever is then printed. It has taste. It may have all the ingredients needed. None of us would really know how to put it in there, so I guess we would all buy it, wouldn't we? And won't there be some leftovers anyway? So, I mean, how are we to make sure that we actually have the right containers to make that volcano of different layers so that it doesn't really taste like just, you know, a heap of pasta with some tomato sauce. Yeah, it looks like a volcano, but I mean, the kids eat the pasta anyway. Sorry for being so old-fashioned, but I just had to ask.
No, that's quite okay. It's a number of questions in there, so I'll try to address them all. The one is the texture. So there are different nozzle sizes, so you can print different textures. Is it every texture yet? No, the textures will develop as we advance the technology. However, I would ask you that, when you eat dinner, don't you sometimes grill a steak? You steam vegetables, you might bake a casserole in the oven to go along with it. So you're using several different kitchen appliances to come together with your final dinner dish. This is the same thing. This is a kitchen appliance in your arsenal. So one of the misconceptions about 3D food printing is that everything that comes out of the printer is that's it, it's done. But a lot of these photos I showed you were part printed, part completed by hand or with other things. So that's where you can get a lot of your textures today. And in the future, there will be more textures that you can print as well. The second question about how do you get your ingredients in there, or how do you make sure it tastes good? Well, it's not the Star Trek replicator just yet, I'm afraid. So it does partially depend on the ingredients you put in is what you get out. It's not that magical where it can transform bad ingredients into good. But think about a food processor. If you buy a food processor, you might read the instructions, you might not, you might just start playing around with it, but once you understand the device, the food processor, then you start using it to reverse engineer your other recipes to make them easy to make. Or you might use cookbooks. You'll have that with here. As this is an IoT device, there will be on-screen instructions to guide you as to how to do things. And it doesn't have to be an actual science. So if you're printing this volcano, do you have to follow the recipe exactly? No. Maybe you have a recipe that's special to your family, and a 3D food printer will be easy to make it. So you can actually use your own ingredients. So as with any cooking, you get to play in the kitchen, and with a 3D food printer, you get to play a little bit more. But it's really about part experimentation with your recipes, or in the case of pre-filled food capsules, that's where you can pretty much get your guaranteed recipe, because those food capsules will be pre-formulated. Did that answer most of? Great, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Lynette. And we will now break for 20 minutes. 10:30, we start sharp again. And I'm sure are people allowed to come here and take a look?
Yes, you're allowed to come and take a closer look if you like.
Let's give Lynette a hand. Thanks.